video that I want to show all of you. And as I show this video, I want you to think about this and think to yourself, was this me when I was little? And how can I make a difference? Is there a... Alrighty, so I know now it's probably a lot different than most of us, but I think we get the picture of how the little boy was. He's like, the dad goes, "Come on, son, hit the ball." It's like, no duh, what's he gonna do? Like, stare out in the left field and stare at the clouds? No. Luckily, that wasn't me for my situation growing up. Had some very supportive parents, and my older brother, when he was in high school, started running cross country. I picked up on everything that my brother did, followed him, and I went to all of his meets, said, you know what, I want to be just like him when I get older. I want to run cross country. 6th grade came around, I signed up. It was my school's first year putting a team together, and so I was like, heck yeah, I want to be part of history. And I can proudly say that I was on the cross country team when my middle school first put one together their first year. After a couple meets, my brother instructed me on how to run better and everything. I just discovered quickly that I wasn't as athletic as I would have liked to have been. I really discovered that I was not Usain Bolt. I could not run a 1.5 miles in 6-7 minutes. I was taking about 13-14 minutes. Luckily, my parents managed to teach me an important lesson at a young age, at the same time while looking out what was best for me. They taught me to never give up in life, and that it's never okay to just quit. When you quit, throw everything away, you don't get anything out of it. So with their encouragement and love, I finished out the season, practiced a little bit in the off season, and said, you know what, I'll keep giving it a try. And 6th, 7th, 8th grade, kept doing cross country. Fast forward to now in college, I decided to have a Netflix and chill date with myself. Can't cancel that, it's very important. Popped on a documentary called Trophy Kids, and this is where I discovered society had a crisis, almost, a real problem. About 30 to 40 million little kids, about up to the ages of around 15, 16, like from pee-wee to right before you get to high school age, enroll in sports every year. 30 to 40 million. Now you got all your sports, so there's a lot. 20% of those only join because they want to know a true skill. They want to know how to perfect it. They might want to be like Michael Jordan. They might want to shoot threes from downtown and be in the NBA Finals. 65% of them joined because Bobby joined. Oh, hey, Mom, Dad, yeah, let me sign me up for football, and here, write me out a check, and Bobby's playing, so I want to play football. They don't have a clue, though. They don't know what a wide receiver and a quarterback is. They just know that Bobby's playing, and they want to hang out with Bobby. And when kids do this, they do it for the wrong reasons. They lose motivation. That statistic came from Center for Kids First that reported, and they went on to say how the kids lose their willpower and motivation. They end up having a burnout. In the documentary, he's around between 13, 14, Derek. He's a basketball player. And when you see him, you'll think he's Stephon Curry. His dad treats him, though, like he is Stephon Curry. He says in the documentary how he puts his son on 25 pills a day. That's a lot. I'm not 14, I'm 25, and I only take 2, maybe. He says how he puts his son on creatine, glutamine, all these other things. I didn't even know what creatine was until like 2 days ago when I looked it up, and it's to help build muscle mass. in professional athletes, not like 12-year-old kids. This quote came from Jim King, who's a medical doctor, and he said, "Children still are in a growing phase. We're not sure what impact creatine will have on their bodies and may have on their muscles and bones as they're still in that developing age and continue to grow." He's right. When you're 14, you're still growing. Your body is growing. And when you take something that strong of an element or a substance, pre-workouts, creatine, post-workouts, protein powder, weight loss supplements, drinks, this, that, the kid's gonna end up developing a habit which will later have negative effects on him. Little leagues, after all, are about fun. They're about having fun, hanging out with your friends, learning how to socialize, and not being on phones, and being able to enjoy the outdoors. It teaches them social skills, life skills, and how to work in teams and communicate well. These skills not only carry with them from the field or the court, but they also carry with them off the court when they get into high school, when they go on to the next profession in their life. After all, it's little leagues, not the NBA. A child's inability to recognize a loss has negative consequences on mental health. Now, you may be thinking, oh, this guy doesn't like sports and he thinks sports are bad. I didn't say that. Here we have Will Ferrell in Kicking and Screaming, classic, highly recommend it. And he's yelling at this little kid, says, "You're only supposed to kick the ball in practice or else you'll ruin it for all of us." This is what I like to call negative influencing. On the right, you have a coach or a dad giving a high five to his son, showing him positive reinforcement. So when you, at one point, are going to have kids or something like that, how do you want to see yourself? Positively reinforcing your kid or yelling at them, telling them that basically you suck and you should only try your hardest and practice? That positivity that we show our kids will then increase self-esteem, motivation, and a whole lot of other benefits that will later on carry with your child into their life. A couple ways to show this positivity is parents can ask the child, you can go up to my child and say, what skills do you want to work on? What do you see yourself doing in football? Do you want to be Tom Brady? And if your kid says, I want to be better than Tom Brady, I want to win 8 Super Bowls, go to the Pro Bowl, and win $1 million, or like have a $200 million contract so I can buy a nice fancy house, get you a new car, get rid of that beat up junker, then yeah, go out there, spend the money, make some sacrifices, and help your child. If they say, I hate football and I don't want to play and it's the most stupid sport ever, then that means let them quit, talk it out with them. It doesn't mean, hey, let me train him like Tom Brady and push him and give him 25 pills a day. No. Another way that we can enforce positivity is parents can trust the coaches. A lot of times in little leagues today, there are brawls and parents don't agree with the coaches and they sock them. They'll knock them out and say, oh, I don't like the way you're coaching my son. Well, be honest, do you really think that a football coach will tell his players to throw it to the opposite team? Do you think he'll tell his quarterback to stand still like a mannequin and just wait to get sacked and lose yardage? No, he's going to tell him to go deep, pass the defense, go for a touchdown, or aim up the uprights, get the extra point, or just run around the outside and get like a 17-yard gain. The coach knows what he's doing. Parents need to have trust in the coaches. And as we put trust in the coaches, children are less likely to be confused, and instead of focusing on who they should listen to, they can focus on, I know what goals that I have set for myself, and they can make those improvements on their own. So ask yourself, where does this negativity begin? Parents tend to live their dreams through their children. Another example of this came from the documentary with Amari. She's about 8 to 10. She's very young. And if you see her, she's got a better golf swing than I do, let me tell you. The dad says on the documentary, "It's simple. Our plans for Amari is to have her in the LPGA Tour." Now hold on just a second. Is that what Amari wants, to be in the LPGA Tour, or is that what you as a dad wants, because you probably didn't work on getting yourself into the PGA Tour, so you're hoping to see that through your child? When children lack ability but are forced to compete, it places them in humiliating situations where they continuously fail. That came from a Livestrong.com report, and where it talks about the effects that youth sports have when parents treat their children in a negative manner. Parents need to draw a fine line between being supportive and overly involved. Yeah, it's good to support your child, like I said earlier. If they want to be like Tom Brady, then you work with them and find the resources so that they can become like Tom Brady. I have a niece who is in love with soccer. She's on all these traveling teams, and my sister-in-law paid to have one of my wife's old friends coach her so that she can be perfected. She doesn't complain, she loves it, and it's a win-win for both of them. My niece's other sister, my other niece, she hated soccer, so the parents said, "You know what, we're not going to push you," and she went into dance, and now she loves it, and she goes to all these dance recitals. Winning is not the only thing that matters. There is more to youth sports than just winning. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a win, and I'm sure we can all agree that we all have a competitive nature about us. We're humans. It's just the way it is. But when we just focus on winning, then that's all we have sight on. We lose focus on why they really are signed up in youth sports. They don't learn the skills that help them carry them throughout their lives, and when they do end up losing, then they get so beat up over it that they end up hating it and don't ever want to do it again. And this was seen with Derek when he was in a basketball tournament. His dad was yelling at him, cussing at him, and the refs and everything. And Derek said to his dad on the sidelines, "Well, are you just going to basically be quiet, or are you going to leave?" He didn't like the way his dad was treating him. So, like I said, there's a lot of pros and cons to youth sports. Don't get me wrong, I agree, youth sports are good for everyone. I was in cross country, and then I did a year of basketball when I was vertically height challenged, and I wasn't that great, but now if I had my height, I wish I would have done it. Pros, they're 92% less likely to be involved with drugs. 80% are less likely to become pregnant at a healthy age. Obvious, like they learn healthy habits like dieting, exercising, things like that, and it boosts self-motivation, self-esteem, confidence, and all these things that carry them into their life, into their future. Some cons: may end up joining a gang, they're not involved, and they'll end up abusing alcohol and drugs. Positivity and negativity not only affects the game, but their future. Like I said, been saying, if they're treated positively and it's something that your child wants, then it'll be great, and they'll enjoy their future, and they might, who knows, your kid might be the next Stephen Curry, and your son will be able to buy a multi-million-dollar home. There is a fine line, though, between focusing just on success and good sportsmanship. What we are lacking in today's society is parents teaching their kids about sportsmanship, and kids are out there just focusing on winning. If they don't win, they get upset, and the parents say, "Deal with it, you're in football, and I'm going to pay for all these coaches even though you don't want it." So, next time your child complains, ask yourself this: will you talk to them and ask them what their goals are and how they can improve and encourage them? Or will you just say, "That's nice that you don't like it, but I don't care. I'm going to do what I want since I'm your dad," and train them to be the next Tom Brady or Stephen Curry? Thank you.